Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, YouTube. Happy Saturday morning. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, YouTube. First of all, I don't have the rights to this. I don't own the rights to this music. This music is for educational purposes.
We all agreed tonight, all of the speakers have agreed that America has a very serious problem. Not only does America have a very serious problem, but our people have a very serious problem. America's problem is self-destruction. Yeah, my self-destruction. Self-destruction. Yeah, my self-destruction. Self-destruction. Yeah, my self-destruction. Self-destruction. Well, today's topic, self-destruction, it really ain't the rap audience is bugging. It's one or two suckers, ignorant brothers, trying to rob and steal from one another. You get caught in the mid. So to crush that stereotype, here's what we did. We got ourselves together so that you can unite and fight for what's right. Not negative cause, the way we live is.
Good morning, Dwayne.
Don't kill our relatives. Pop, 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 when it's shot, who's to blame? Headline, front page, and raps the name. MC Delight here to state the bottom line. The black on black crime was way before our time. Took a brother's life with a knife, that's his wife. Cried cause he died a trifling death when he left his very last breath. Was I slept, so watch your step. Back in the 60s, our brothers and sisters were hanged. How could you gangbang? I never ever ran from the Ku Klux Klan, and I shouldn't have to run from a black man, cause that's self-destruction. Yeah, my self-destruction.
Good morning, Abdullah.
Yeah, my self-destruction. Self-destruction. Yeah, my self-destruction. Self-destruction. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
Funky fresh dress to impress, ready to party. Money in your pocket, dying to move your body. To get inside, you pay the whole $10. Scotch tape with a razor blade, tape to your collar. Leave the guns in the crack and the knives alone. MC lights on the microphone, bum rushing and pushing, snatching and taxing. I can't understand why brothers don't be maxing. There's only one disco, they'll close one more. You ain't guarding the door, so what you got a gun for? Do you rob the rich and give to the poor? Yo, daddy-o. School some more.
Just straight from the mouth of why and daddy-o. Do a crime, end up in jail and gotta go. Cause you could do crime and get paid today. And tomorrow you're behind bars in the worst way. Far from your family, cause you're locked away. Now tell me, do you really think crime pays? You on taking what your brother had?
You little sucker.
You talking all that jazz.
It's time to stand together in a unity. Cause if not, then we're soon to be self-destroyed, unemployed. The rap race will be lost without a trace or a clue. But what to do is stop the violence and kick the science down the road that we call eternity, where knowledge is formed and you learn to be self-sufficient, independent. To teach the each is what rap intended, but society wants to invade. So do not walk this path that they laid. It's self-destruction. Yeah, my self-destruction. Self-destruction. D-Nice, break it down like this. Children growing, women producing, men go working, some do stealing. Self-destruction. Yeah, my self-destruction. Self-destruction.
I'm Miss Melody and I'm a born again rebel. The Bible said that must cease and settle. If we want to develop and grow to another level, we can't be guinea pigs for the devil. The enemy knows they're no fools because everyone knows the hip hop rules. So we gotta get it deep and grab what's real. The opposition is weak and rap is strong.
This is all about, no doubt, to stop violence. But first, let's have a moment of silence. Swing. This has been stated, re-educated, evaluated. Thoughts of the past have faded. The only thing left is the memories of our belated. And I hate it when someone dies and get all hurt up for a silly gold chain by Chuck. Word up. It doesn't make you a big man. And you want and go and dish your brother, man. And you don't know that's part of the plan. Why? Because rap music is in full demand. Understand?
My name is just Ice, a man, not a prankster. I was known as the gangster. But believe me, that is no fun. The time is now to unite everyone. You don't have to be soft to be for peace. Robbing and killing and murdering is the least. You don't have to be chained by the beast. The party people, it's time I release. Hey yo, here's the situation. Idiocy, nonsense, violence. Not a good policy, therefore we must ignore fighting, fussing. Heaven's at the door, so there'll be no bum rushing. Let's get together before we're falling apart. I heard a brother shot another, it broke my heart. I don't understand the difficulty, people. Love your brother, treat him as an equal. They call us animal, I don't agree with them. I'll prove it wrong. The right is what you're proving them. Take heed before I lead to what I'm saying, or we'll all be on our knees. Praying.
Heavy deep in the heart of the matter. The self-destruction is served on a platter. Making a day, not failing to anticipate. They got greedy, so they fell for the bait. That makes them a victim. Pick them, pluck new jack in jail, but to the vets feel a duck. There's no one wrong, cause in jail you're a number. They never took the time to wonder about self-destruction. Yeah, for self-destruction.
Yes, we urge to merge. We live for the love of our people, the hope they get along. Get the point to our brothers and sisters who don't know the time.
So we know the ride.
Step in your head, you know our job to build and collect ourselves with intellect. To revolve, to evolve the self-respect. Plus we got to keep ourselves in check, or else it's self-destruction. Yeah, for self-destruction. Self-destruction. Yeah, for self-destruction.
What's up, YouTube family? What's happening? What's happening? OG Truth Talk, man. On here live with you guys this wonderful Saturday morning. Hope everybody doing good. Hope everybody doing good. Yeah. Oh, man. How's everybody day going so far? I know it's just started. I know probably some people at work. You know, hope your evening going well. I just got something. I'm going to go over video. But I just got something I want to say right quick. Get it out the way. Get it out the way and things. I learned my lesson. You know, people, I just didn't know how deep this shit was, man. I didn't know how deep it's a lot of deep wounds in this sector. You know, by me coming in naive, you know, I was exposed to a lot of things, man. Like I say, I didn't know how deep the wounds were in this sector. To me, it's sad. It's sad to me. Where did it start? Where did it begin? I don't know. Because it seems like everything I talk about and everything that I stand for, or the things that I'm against, is happening right here in this sector. And it pains me to see this. Like I say, I don't know anybody on this YouTube sector. And I'm coming in here with an open mind and, open love for everybody. You know, if I felt your show was entertaining, I supported it. I came in here to develop no hatred for nobody. But here I am. Caught up in some bullshit. You know? Caught up in some bullshit. Shit that I didn't develop or was ever a part of. Shit that I'm against. But not knowing I've been pulled in. So I came to a decision. And I would like to thank everybody who gave me their honest opinion. And just to let you know, guys, I thought about it. I would no longer, unless I'm invited, I would no longer hit people panels. If I have something to voice or an opinion to make, I would just come home on my channel. Because I see when I jump on people's panel, like I say, I didn't know there was a lot of deep wounds in this sector. They deeper than what I thought. And it's crazy. It's crazy. But, I'm just going to, do my thing, support from afar. But my, first of all, let me say this. The term smoking on a rabbit pack, I didn't know how personal and offensive or what the meaning of that was. Me, I would never disrespect the unalive. And from what I'm told, if that's what it's about, to whoever it may affect, I apologize for it coming out my mouth because I didn't know. I didn't know. So I hope this wound in time will heal. I wish this wound in time would heal. See, that's why I don't like all this personal shit. That's why I don't like all that. I don't like all this personal shit. Your life off of YouTube is your life off of YouTube, in my opinion. But somehow it hasn't been seen that way. So I don't care who started it first. I don't care who's keep on doing it. I don't care about none of that. just know that's against my principle. And like I said, if I knew more like now than what I knew then, I would have moved a little bit differently. But like they say, ignorance is no excuse. So I take full accountability. But you better believe it won't happen again. And I'm not saying this like I'm gonna stop supporting certain people. I'm gonna support and watch who I watch. That ain't gonna stop. Only thing is gonna stop is jumping on people panels. Just sit back, enjoy the show, maybe comment, maybe throw a little jokes here and there since I do be in the roasting section, roasting sector. I'm gonna leave it at that. But as far as jumping on somebody's panel, like I did before, that's over with. So and that's on that, people. You know, excuse me. I thought of something. I went over this before, but I know a lot of people probably didn't hear it. Then what happened yesterday? I just think um, I feel that it should be heard again. Um, it's the Willie Lynch letter, The Making of a Slave. Now, you might want to ask me why I'm doing this again. I just want to show people how the division was thought of, how to divide us, why it is important to divide us. I just want to iterate on that again because it's painful. It's just painful to me to see how we're going as people. It almost makes you want to give up because it seems like there's no hope. But I'm telling you, people, I refuse to give up. You know, I'm not trying to cure the whole world or cure the whole YouTube sector because I know that'll probably be an impossible task. But at least can we make it better? Can we at least do that? I just think all of us need to just stop pointing fingers and work on ourselves. Because us as individuals can stop all this. We can stop all this. You know? So it's all up to us, man. Yeah, but this is the Willie Lynch letter, The Making of a Slave. Now I want you guys to pay close attention. It's about the man Willie Lynch. He's a slave owner. He was a slave owner in West Indies, and he was brought to America to help to teach the slave owners how to control their slaves. Because there was a time, as I showed you on Nat Turner, you had a lot of slaves that were rebellious to slavery. So at the time, it was hard for them to control them. You know, they was losing money. Because, like I say, you had some slaves rebellious. So the slave owners didn't make the money as they should. So Willie Lynch came and gave them a speech or gave them a letter to teach them how to control their slave. Because, see, remember, slavery had been going on a long time, even before it came to the United States. So these slave owners over here needed to find a way to control their slaves because the way it was going, it was hurting them money-wise. So let's listen to this, the Willie Lynch letter, The Making of a Slave. I.A. Lewis is a content creator. You guys can check it out. Okay, let's begin.
This is Audible.
You are about to hear The Willie Lynch Letter and the Making of a Slave, read by Ronald Eastwood. Contents. Chapter 1, Greetings. Chapter 2, Let's Make a Slave. Chapter 3, Cardinal Principles for Making a Negro. Chapter 4, The Breaking Process of the African Woman. Chapter 5, The Negro Marriage Unit. Chapter 6, Controlled Language. This speech was delivered by Willie Lynch on the bank of the James River in the colony of Virginia in 1712. Lynch was a British slave owner in the West Indies. He was invited to the colony of Virginia in 1712 to teach his methods to slave owners there. The term lynching is derived from his name. Greetings. Gentlemen, I greet you here on the bank of the James River in the year of our Lord 1712. First, I should thank you, the gentlemen of the colony of Virginia, for bringing me here. I am here to help you solve some of your problems with slaves. Your invitation reached me on my modest plantation in the West Indies, where I have experimented with some of the newest and still have the oldest methods for control of slaves. Ancient Rome would envy us if my program is implemented. As our boat sailed south on the James River, named for our illustrious king, whose version of the Bible we cherish, I saw enough to know that your problem is not unique.
Now, you see, the West British and the King. See, the version of the King is the King James Version. Now, I explained to you guys enough how the King James Version of the Bible, how different books was taken out of the Bible. So remember actually who King James was. See, let's continue.
While Rome used cords of wood as crosses for standing human beings along its highways in great numbers, you are here using the tree and the rope on occasions. I caught the whiff of a dead slave hanging from a tree a couple of miles back. You are not only losing valuable stock by hangings, you're having uprisings. Slaves are running away. Your crops are sometimes left in the fields too long for maximum profit. You suffer occasional fires. Your animals are killed. Gentlemen, you know what your problems are. I do not need to elaborate. I am not here to enumerate your problem. I am here to introduce you to a method of solving them. In my bag here, I have a foolproof method for controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if you installed it correctly, it will control the slaves for at least 300 years. My method is simple. Any member of your family or your overseer can use it. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take them differences and make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes.
See, fear, distrust, and envy. And a lot of that in today's time, we put that on each other, or we show that towards one another. You know, we put fear in our own people. We distrust our own people, and we jealous and envy of our own people. Now, you hear this is what this slave owner used to instill in the slaves so they can be controlled. The key word is to be controlled. Let's continue.
Methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple little list of differences and think about it. On top of my list is age, but it's there only because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade. There's intelligence, size, sex, sizes of plantations, status on plantations, attitude of owners, whether the slaves live in the valley, on a hill, east, west, north, south, have fine hair, coarse hair, or is tall or short. Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of action. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust, and envy stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. The black slaves, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling and self-generating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Don't forget, you must pitch the old black male versus the young black male, and the young black male against the old black male. You must use the dark-skinned slaves versus the light-skinned slaves, and the light-skinned slaves versus the dark-skinned slaves. You must use the female versus the male, and the male versus the female. You must also have your white servants and overseers distrust all blacks. But it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, and trust only us.
See, they don't want us to trust each other. They want us to depend on them. See, but they was told that they couldn't trust us. But they wanted us to trust them and depend on them. Now, what sense does that make? Let's continue.
Gentlemen, these kits are your keys to control. Use them. Have your wives and children use them. Never miss an opportunity. Used intensely for 1 year, the slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's Make a Slave by the Black Arcade Liberation Library. It was the interest and business of slaveholders to study human nature, and the slave nature in particular, with a view to practical results. I and many of them attained astonishing proficiency in this direction. They had to deal not with earth, wood, and stone, but with men, and by every regard they had for their own safety and prosperity, they needed to know the material on which they were to work. Conscious of the injustice and wrong they were every hour perpetuating, and knowing what they themselves would do. Were they the victims of such wrongs? They were constantly looking for the first signs of the dreaded retribution. They watched, therefore, with skilled and practiced eyes, and learned to read with great accuracy the state of mind and heart of the slave through his sable face. Unusual sobriety, apparent abstractions, sullenness, and indifference, indeed any mood out of the common, was afforded ground for suspicion and inquiry. Frederick Douglass. Let's Make a Slave is a study of the scientific process of man-breaking and slave-making. It describes the rationale and results of the Anglo-Saxons' ideas and methods of ensuring the master-slave relationship, the origin and development of a social being called the Negro. Let us make a slave. What do we need? First of all, we need a black nigger man, a pregnant nigger woman, and her baby nigger boy. Second, we will use the same basic principle that we use in breaking a horse, combined with some more sustaining factors. What we do with horses is that we break them from one form of life to another. That is, we reduce them from their natural state in nature. Whereas nature provides them with the natural capacity to take care of their offspring, we break that natural string of independence from them, and thereby create a dependency status, so that we may be able to get from them useful production for our business and pleasure.
Now, see, that's what they do. See, they know if they snatch away the way we can progress or anything like that, they find a way to eliminate that. So we can always come back and depend on them. Just like in some major cities, you have a lot of factories that close. Because you think about back then, a lot of black folks who migrated to the north and all that, they was getting factory jobs. They was getting jobs that offered pensions. But too many black people was prospering. A lot of black people was kind of closing that economic gap. That's when you really had middle class. You had some poor, but you also had middle class because you had the type of job that you had, like the factories and jobs and stuff. But once they wiped most of the factory jobs and wiped away jobs that gave out pensions, the economic gap got wider. Because you couldn't create generational wealth. It was harder to create generational wealth. So they always knew what they was doing. Like I say, this was introduced to the white slave owners in 1712. See, that's why I like to show history, because history always repeats itself. And it's a reason why things is happening the way it is now. Like I say, if you learn history, you will see it. Well, let's continue.
Cardinal principles for making a Negro. For fear that our future generations may not understand the principles of breaking both of the beasts together, the nigger and the horse, we understand that short-range planning economics results in periodic economic chaos, so that to avoid turmoil in the economy, it requires us to have breadth and depth in long-range comprehensive planning, articulating both skill-sharp perceptions. We lay down the following principles for long-range comprehensive economic planning. 1. Both horse and niggers is no good to the economy in the wild or natural state. 2. Both must be broken and tied together for orderly production. 3. For orderly future, special and particular attention must be paid to the female and the youngest offspring. 4. Both must be crossbred to produce a variety and a division of labor. 5. Both must be taught to respond to you in a peculiar new language. 6. Psychological and physical instruction of containment must be created for both. We hold the 6 cardinal principles as truth to be self-evident, based upon the following discourse concerning the economics of breaking and tying the horse and the nigger together, all inclusive of the 6 principles laid down about. Accordingly, both a wild horse and a wild or natural nigger are dangerous, even if captured, for they will have the tendency to seek their customary freedom, and in doing so might kill you in your sleep. You cannot rest. They sleep while you are awake, and are awake while you are asleep. They are dangerous near the family house, and it requires too much labor to watch them away from the house. Above all, you cannot get them to work in this natural state. Hence, both the horse and the nigger must be broken. That is, breaking them from one form of mental life to another. Keep the body and take the mind.
That's what they use our body, but control our mind. So you control anybody if you capture their mind. And that's what they do to control you. That's why they want you to stay ignorant. Want you to stay dumb to what's going on around you. Because they're controlling you. Because they can't control you, man. This shit won't be done. But they bet on us never waking up. You know how they got that sports bet? They got some betting mechanism to bet that we stay dumb and we never wake up. So some of them might be confident that we'll never wake up. Let's continue.
In other words, break the will to resist. Now, the breaking process is the same for both the horse and the nigger, only slightly varying in degrees. But as we said before, there is an art in long-range economic planning. You must keep your eye and thoughts on the female and the offspring of the horse and the nigger. A brief discourse in offspring development will shed light on the key to sound economic principles.
As you can tell, man, they talking nothing but about money, economic. They're not, when they talk about economic, it's not economic that's coming to us, money that's coming to us. It's about the money that they can make. So they feel that they can control us and have us do what we need to do to make them money. They had to do any method necessary to keep us in line. But I want you guys to Coming up, I want y'all to listen to what he about to say about the female and her offspring and the male and all that. I want y'all to listen and think about what's happening today. And I want you to see the comparison. Like I say, this is the Willie Lynch letter, The Making of a Slave. I.A. Lewis, content creator. Let's continue.
Pay little attention to the generation of original breaking, but concentrate on future generations. Therefore, if you break the female mother, she will break the offspring in its early years of development, and when the offspring is old enough to work, she will deliver it up to you, for her normal female protective tendencies will have been lost in the original breaking process. For example, take the case of the wild stud horse, a female horse, and an already infant horse, and compare the breaking process with two captured nigger males in their natural state, a pregnant nigger woman and her infant offspring. Take the stud horse, break him for limited containment. Completely break the female horse until she becomes very gentle, whereas you or anybody can ride her in her comfort. Breed the mare and the stud until you have the desired offspring. Then you can turn the stud to freedom until you need him again. Train the female horse where she will eat out of your hand, and she will in turn train the infant horse to eat out of your hand also. When it comes to breaking the uncivilized nigger, use the same process, but vary the degree and step up the pressure, so as to do a complete reversal of the mind. Take the meanest and most reckless nigger, strip him of his clothes in front of the remaining male niggers, the female and the nigger infant. Tar and feather him. Tie each leg to a different horse faced in an opposite direction. Set him on fire and beat both horses to pull him apart in front of the remaining nigger. The next step is to take a bullwhip and beat the remaining nigger male to the point of death in front of the female and the infant. Don't kill him, but put the fear of God in him, for he can be useful for future breeding. The breaking process of the African woman.
So you saw what they do to the male. They embarrass him, strip him of his dignity, strip him of his manhood, to embarrass him so bad where people would have fear, because they destroying a strong black man. And they know if you destroy that strong black man, fear is going to go amongst the rest of the slaves. So that's what they banked on. Let's continue.
Take the female and run a series of tests on her to see if she will submit to your desires willingly. Test her in every way, because she is the most important factor for good economics.
See, they know the female is the big key, especially of raising children. Because God always said the man was the provider and protector. And the woman basically took care of the household and the kids. So while the man is providing and protecting, the mother is nurturing and teaching the kids also. So they had to find a way to break that up somehow. And this is what they came up with.
If she shows any signs of resistance in submitting completely to your will, do not hesitate to use the bullwhip on her to extract the last bit of bitch out of her. Take care not to kill her, for in doing so you spoil good economics. When in complete submission, she will train her offsprings in the early years to submit to labor when they become of age. Understanding is the best thing. Therefore, we shall go deeper into this area of the subject matter concerning what we have produced here in this breaking process of the female nigger. We have reversed the relationship in her natural uncivilized state. She would have a strong dependency on the uncivilized nigger male, and she would have a limited protective tendency toward her independent male offspring, and would raise male offsprings to be dependent like her. Nature had provided for this type of balance. We reversed nature by burning and pulling a civilized nigger apart and bullwhipping the other to the point of death, all in her presence. By her being left alone, unprotected, with the male image destroyed, the ordeal caused her to move from her psychological dependent state to a frozen, independent state. In this frozen psychological state of independence, she will raise her male and female offspring in reversed roles. For fear of the young male's life, she will psychologically train him to be mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong. Because she has become psychologically independent, she will train her female offspring to be psychologically independent.
Don't that sound familiar? See, they knew as long as the man was in the house that the man would teach that male offsprings what it took to be a man. But if they took that male out the household, then a woman eventually would come to the point where I don't need a man. I can do this on my own. I'm independent. Then when she had that offspring, that woman can't teach that man how to be a man. See, he'll get the mindset of depending on. You know, he won't be taught how to go get it. But he'll still grow up strong because he's a man. But his mindset is not set as a man. Then when she have a girl offspring, she gonna teach the girl to be just like her. Independent and also dependent. Just think why there's a generation of people or generations of family that's on welfare. Because you dependent. You dependent on them food stamps every month. You dependent on that money. So you don't have no man in the household who can go out and provide for the family. Because for you to be on welfare, a man cannot be in the house. I'm talking about a woman. A man cannot live in your house. If a man live in your house, you're not getting welfare. But if you don't have a man in your house and you have a bunch of kids, they'll give you welfare. Some states, they do a whole lot more for you. If you are a single mother. I know the state of Minnesota, I don't know if they still do, but they help single mothers buy their own home. And I ain't talking about buying home traditional way. You have to go through the to get the home. You don't have to have a whole lot of money to put down payments and all that. You know, like if you're a regular person buying a house, they have programs for single mothers to get homes. But a man can't live in your household. Let's continue.
What have you got? You've got the nigger woman out front and the nigger man behind and scared.
Yeah, I'm good, Kisum. Always good, bro. When I wake up in the morning, yeah, I'm good.
This is a perfect situation of sound sleep and economics. Before the breaking process, we had to be alertly on guard at all times. Now we can sleep soundly, for out of frozen fear, his woman stands guard for us. He cannot get past her early slave molding process. He is a good tool, now ready to be tied to the horse at a tender age. By the time a nigger boy reaches the age of 16, he is soundly broken in and ready for a long life of sound and efficient work and the reproduction of a unit of good labor force. Continually, through the breaking of uncivilized savage niggers, by throwing the nigger female savage into a frozen psychological state of independence, by killing of the protective male image, and by creating a submissive dependent mind of the nigger male slave, we have created an orbiting cycle that turns on its own axis forever.
And what I just say, I just mentioned that. They take away that man who can teach that male offspring how to be a man. You know, that breaks the cycle. Then after they complete that task, it'll be repeating thing that's going on through history. Because people will depend, making people depend. They taking away that male offspring. Let's continue.
Unless a phenomenon occurs and reshifts the position of the male and female slaves. We showed what we mean by example. Take the case of the two economic slave units and examine them closely. The Negro marriage unit. We breed two nigger males with two nigger females. Then we take the nigger male away from them and keep them moving and working. Say one nigger female bears a nigger female and the other bears a nigger male. Both nigger females, being without influence of the nigger male image, frozen with an independent psychology, will raise their offspring into reverse positions. The one with the female offspring will teach her to be like herself, independent and negotiable. We negotiate with her, through her, by her, and negotiate her at will. The one with the nigger male offspring, she being frozen subconscious fear for her life, will raise him to be mentally dependent and weak, but physically strong. In other words, body over mind. Now, in a few years, when these two offspring become fertile for early reproduction, we will mate and breed them and continue the cycle. That is good, sound, and long-range comprehensive planning.
That ain't that what I just said. So they know once they break one, they know it'll be a repeated cycle. See, because once they take that male out the household, they know that female, especially the male offspring, the female can't necessarily teach that male how to be a man. So that man, that male offspring, gonna be kind of weak-minded like her in the mind. He's gonna still be physically strong, but his mindset is gonna be weak. He's not gonna have the same mindset as maybe his father would have. He's gonna have the mindset of his mother because his mother is raising him. Man, it sounds familiar, man. Now, I want people to stay after this thing, chop it up. We'll talk about it. So let's finish this video.
Warning: possible interloping negatives. Earlier, we talked about the non-economic good of the horse and the nigger in the wild and natural state. We talked out the principle of breaking and tying them together for orderly production. Furthermore, we talked about paying particular attention to the female savage and her offspring for orderly future planning. Then, more recently, we stated that by reversing the positions of the male and female savages, we created an orbiting cycle that turns on its own axis forever unless a phenomenon occurred and reshifted the positions of the male and female savages. Our experts warned us about the possibility of this phenomenon occurring, for they say the mind has a strong drive to correct and recorrect itself over a period of time. If I can touch some substantial, original historical base, they advised us that the best way to deal with the phenomenon is to shave off the brute's mental history and create a multiplicity of phenomena of illusions, so that each illusion will twirl in its own orbit, something similar to floating balls in a vacuum. This creation of multiplicity of phenomena of illusions entails the principle of crossbreeding the nigger and the horse, as we stated above, the purpose of which is to create a diversified division of labor, thereby creating different levels of labor and different values of illusion at each connecting level of labor. The results of which is the severance of the points of original beginnings for each sphere of illusion. Since we feel that the subject matter may get more complicated as we proceed in laying down our economic plan concerning the purpose, reason, and effect of crossbreeding horses and niggers, we shall lay down the following definition terms for future generations. Orbiting cycle means a thing turning in a given path. Axis means upon which or around which a body turns. Phenomenon means something beyond ordinary conception and inspires awe and wonder. Multiplicity means a great number. Sheer means a globe. Crossbreeding a horse means taking a horse and breeding it with an ass, and you get a dumb, backward ass, long-headed mule that is neither reproductive nor productive by itself. Crossbreeding niggers means taking so many drops of good white blood and putting them into as many nigger women as possible, varying the drops by the various tones that you want, and then letting them breed with each other until another circle of color appears as you desire. What this means is this: put the niggers and the horse in a breeding pot, mix some asses and some good white blood, and what do you get? You get a multiplicity of colors of ass-backward, unusual niggers, running, tied to a backward-ass long-headed mule, the one productive of itself, the other sterile. The one constant, the other dying. We keep the nigger constant, for we may replace the mules for another tool. Both mule and nigger tied to each other, neither knowing where the other came from, and neither productive for itself, nor without each other.
Yeah. That's where all the crossbreeding started. So you got to think, most of the time they was killing off most of the black male slaves. But they knew they needed the physical bodies of the slaves for economical reasons. So they had to figure out a way, although they put fear in the black slave and did everything they did, they still needed the female to have offsprings so they can keep things going. They needed laborers. So the more slaves you have, possibly the more money you had because you had laborers. But, by them doing what they're doing, they had to figure out another way where they can have the Negro woman to produce more kids so they can keep their economical wealth going. So that's when they thought of crossbreeding. You had slave owners sleeping with the women slaves, to have offsprings because they needed their bodies to make money, and also to make us unaware of who we really are. Because today, a lot of us don't know that some of us is crossbreed. I bet you 80% of black people that was born in America has some other type of race in them. And that's a fact. Let's continue. We almost done.
Controlled language. Crossbreeding completed, for further severance from their original beginning, we must completely annihilate the mother tongue of both the new nigger and the new mule, and institute a new language that involves the new life's work of both. Language is a peculiar institution. It leads to the heart of a people. The more a foreigner knows about the language of another country, the more he is able to move through all levels of that society. Therefore, if the foreigner is an enemy of the country, to the extent that he knows the body of the language, to that extent is the country vulnerable to attack or invasion of a foreign culture. For example, if you take a slave, if you teach him all about your language, he will know all your secrets, and he is then no more a slave, for you can't fool him any longer. And being a fool is one of the basic ingredients of an incident to the maintenance of the slavery system.
Being a fool, they count on you to be a fool, to be dumb to the truth. They want you to stay dumb to the truth. That's why in some schools they never really taught you black history. They chose what to teach you in schools. They chose what to teach you in school. They chose to teach you about Christopher Columbus, the man who discovered America, Abraham Lincoln, the man who freed the slaves. That's what they want you to know. They don't mind you knowing that. But truth, they don't want you to know the truth. Well, I'm showing you they don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that. Things about Nat Turner, they don't want you to know that part of history. Marcus Garvey, they don't want you to know about that part of history. But they'll teach you Christopher Columbus, the first man to discover America, and Abraham Lincoln, the man who freed the slaves. They'll teach you that though, quickly. Okay, we got about less than 2 minutes of this video. Let's continue.
For example, if you told a slave that he must perform in getting out our crops, and he knows the language well, he would know that our crops didn't mean our crops, and the slavery system would break down, for he would relate on the basis of what our crops really meant. So you have to be careful in setting up the new language, for the slaves would soon be in your house, talking to you man to man, and that is death to our economic system. In addition, the definitions of words or terms are only a minute part of the process. Values are created and transported by communication through the body of the language. A total society has many interconnected value systems. All the values in the society have bridges of language to connect them for orderly working in the society. But for those language bridges, these many value systems would sharply clash and cause internal strife or civil war, the degree of the conflict being determined by the magnitude of the issues or relative opposing strength in whatever form. For example, if you put a slave in a hog pen and train him to live there and incorporate in him to value it as a way of life completely, the biggest problem you would have out of him is that he would worry you about provisions to keep the hog pen clean, or take the same hog pen and make a slip and incorporate something into his language where he comes to value a house more than he does his hog pen. Now you've got a problem. He will soon be in your house. This has been The Willie Lynch Letter and the Making of a Slave. Copyright 2013 by Snowball Publishing.
Good. That's it, people. That's a Willie Lynch letter. The Making of a Slave. Yeah, man, that's crazy. You know, like I say, a lot of stuff that's going on now, man, is still being practiced today. Still being practiced. So we have to break that mindset, man. We have to break that mindset. So what's up, people, YouTube? How y'all doing, man? Yeah, y'all heard me earlier, man. Lesson well learned, man. Lesson well learned. Man. Wounds are deep, man. The disrespect is real. The mistrust is real. Man. Seems like the hatred is real. Damn. This is crazy, man. I heard that, you know, it was crazy, but damn. You know, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. See, I thought all that shit, you know, was joking wise. You know, like I said, that's why, you know, whatever the case might be, I didn't know it was that deep. I didn't know shit was that deep, man. I didn't know shit would refer to unalive people's family. Hold on for a second, y'all. Yeah, I didn't know all that, man. So I just can say on my end, if by me repeating it or whatever offending anybody, just believe that ain't what I meant to do. You know, I was just going on that the shit was just jokes. But what they said is true and it's that deep, man. Shit, man, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. It is crazy. Because I came, you know, I thought people were just roasting, you know, whatever. But man, this most of this shit was what I'm basically against, man. When you talk about, you know, unalived family and members and, you know, because I know how I feel if somebody talk about my deceased parents. I wouldn't think that was cool. I wouldn't thought, you know, that would be cool. That's cool. So I just have to be real on that part. I don't think nobody should do that. I don't care who you are. I don't think nobody should talk about somebody else's deceased parents. That's not cool. That's not cool at all to me. And I just didn't know the wounds was that deep, man. It's just crazy, man. Because I wasn't going to go live this morning. But like I always say, man, you're never too old to learn. You're never too old to learn. And I learned a lot. See, I'm not trying to necessarily group up. I would like to enjoy everybody that's on the YouTube. If I like your show, I'd like to feel free to watch your show. I don't want to go watch a show, then find out this one person whose show I watch also has deep animosity toward the other person I go see. Man, I don't want to be involved in that shit. I don't want to be involved in that shit, man. I don't. I want to feel free to watch whoever I want to watch without getting put in the middle. Now, maybe some say I put myself there. I take that. But it's just sad that I have to be careful. You know, I just can't support who I want. I'm still going to support who I want to. I ain't gonna stop supporting who I, shows I like. I'm still not gonna do that. But you just have to show support in a different way. Because by me being new on here, I don't know who got personal grudges against who. I don't know what's real and what's fake. What's just roasted or it's personal. And that's fucked up. I just hope, man, one day these wounds will heal. And in my opinion, the only way this shit will heal if people stop doing what the hell they doing. Like, babe, look, bro, chill. Welcome, but chill. Chill, bro. Chill. If you don't have no constructive criticism, chill, bro. Because everything you come and pushing back on me, I already explained everything, man. So what I'm doing now, I'm not making no excuses. I'm not doing none of that. I'm just saying I didn't know all this fuck shit and how deep these wounds were. Because I ain't been on here no 5 years. I ain't been on here 4 years. I ain't been on here 3 years. I ain't been on here a year yet. So how do I suppose to know everything, all the beats, how deep these wounds are? How do I suppose to know that? So you stop it, bro. You stop it. And see, this is probably why this shit is steady going. Because you have people, some people in the chat that's not trying to defuse this shit. Want this shit to keep going. Some of y'all don't want the fuckery to end. No, I didn't say all of y'all. I said some. Some of y'all want this fuckery to continue. That's why you have some keep just. Bro, I just said I learned my lesson, McVeigh. That's what I'm saying, bro. You should have heard me earlier. I just said I learned my lesson, bro. Maybe you wasn't in here earlier when I said that. Maybe I give you, consideration of the doubt, man. Maybe you wasn't here when I first said it, but yeah, I already said that, man. Yeah, I already said that movie, but I appreciate you though, Big Bay. But saying what you said, that's the conclusion I came up with. Like I said, I didn't know how deep this shit was, man. And like I will continue to say, man, I ain't come over here to make no enemies. That was the far thing I was thinking about. Yeah, I just stepped my foot in the mud for a little bit. I ain't stay in the mud. Shit, I got out that mud. I wiped my shoes off. I know what's happening now. What's up, Cortez? I know what's happening now. Yeah. Yeah. You know, just step back, man. Yeah, Cortez, I ain't know all this shit was, man, this deep, man. You know, I never understood, you know, at the beginning when people were saying I should be careful on jumping on panels. You know, I just felt, you know, my crazy ass thought, hey man, that's shit. Let's cure this shit. Yeah. But no, Cortez, you really didn't miss too much, man. I had at the beginning, I just, you know, stated that, you know, I learned the lesson, man, out of all this. You know, I ain't know how deep a lot of this shit was. You know, I was thinking it was just people, you know, roasting each other, you know. But from what I hear, man, from people who've been here, I say 3 years plus, man, it's deeper than what I thought. A lot of feelings have been hurt. A lot of disrespecting has been made. You know, so I didn't know. And by me not knowing, I put myself in a whole lot of bullshit situations, which I had no business in or tried to get in. But by me being ignorant of what was going on, I fell in it. Oh, you cool. You cool. You cool. Well, maybe I'm gonna tell you something, man. I'm not gonna turn my back on the takeover. Who I support, I'm still gonna support. But I just found out. I just found a different way to support. No, I know Cortez, but see, that's the same thing I said. But by me saying it and where I say it at, I'm being pulled in. Yeah, I know the deal, Cortez. Yeah, I know. I know. Like I said, I'm gonna just approach it different, man. I might just be like you, just you know, come on the panel when I want to or when I'm called or whatever, man. Just stay in the chat. You know, I show my support that way, man. I didn't know McVeigh. I didn't know what anybody was doing. It's just not them. Cause that's the case, man. Everybody did something wrong. I just can't put it on two people or one person or nothing like that. Because, like I say, every action causes a reaction. Everybody committed action first, and everybody reacted on somebody else's action. So it's because it takes somebody to react on the action for it to keep going. That's all I'm saying. It don't really matter who started it. To me, that really don't matter. So it's just not two people or three people or four people. Everybody should check themselves. That's all. That's all I'm saying, man. I ain't putting no blame on nobody. I ain't putting no blame on nobody, man. I'm just saying we all need to check ourselves. Stop worrying about what another man do, what another man say. What did you say? What did you do? Because McVeigh, to me, all this shit can stop, man. Everybody can go to roasting, do what they do, get cash out, get red bubble, whatever the fuck you want to get. As I hear some people say, make YouTube fun again. We all have control of making it like that again. But if we keep wanting to point fingers at each other, nothing's never going to get solved. Nobody want to take accountability, man. What's up, Gerald? Salute, 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 salute. Hit them like buttons for me, y'all. If y'all haven't subscribed, please subscribe for me. We all got to take accountability, man. We got to stop pointing the fingers, man. Because we all ain't innocent parties. Now, if I can sit up here and apologize for my role, what makes you any better? And I believe my role is not as bad as some other people's roles. But I'm not worried about other people. I'm apologizing for my role. That's taking accountability. That's being an adult. That's being an adult. Now, if you want to be a kid, you keep pointing your finger at other people. If you want to be a man or a grown woman, take accountability on some things you do. Because you're not innocent in everything. But, hey, like I said, yesterday was a teachable moment for me. It was a teachable moment. Oh, yeah. I know one thing. I'm about tired of this change of weather. You know, interview. You know, if motherfuckers wasn't full of games, all right, Cortez. If people wasn't full of games, I wouldn't mind going on somebody's platform and telling them what I'm about. But you're not gonna use me as a pawn in your game. See, when I went on the Rabbit panel, when he started, I knew he was about to be full of shit. That's why I started laughing at the beginning when he was talking, because I knew what was coming. You know, now some things I could have worded differently. Like one part I said, I don't associate with them over there. I should explain that more clearly. Like I say, I'm learning. Like I say, I'm learning. When I meant I don't associate with them over there, that means I meant I don't associate with them in real life. We never really met in real life. So it ain't like we talk to each other on the phone, off of YouTube, you know, email back to back, off of YouTube. We don't do none of that. Only time we conversate is when we on YouTube. So that's what I meant. I don't associate with them over there. I don't associate with anybody on YouTube, off of YouTube. But I got a cousin that's on my page. But you know, besides him, but anybody else, people I don't know, no, it's strictly on YouTube. And some people took that statement wrong, which I'm not tripping on it. You know, just sometimes you got to learn what you say and how you say things. Because people will stretch it. Like I say, a lesson learned. Yep. Tell you, everybody can learn something every day, man, no matter how old you are. You can learn something new every day. But see, I know I'm still going to have people who don't like me. It's okay. Because, like I say, if you don't have haters, then you're not doing something right. But, like I say, I don't try to preach separatism. I don't care if you're in a rabbit, subscribe to the rabbits. I don't care if you subscribe to support 504. I don't care if support TJ, I don't care who you support. Everybody is welcome to my channel. Because this channel to me is made, I'm trying to make it for all of us to learn. Because you can support who you want to support. Because I'm not preaching division here. And I try not to divide here. We all is one. And that's just how I feel, man. But of course, you're going to have people feel differently. It's okay. It's okay. I'm just thankful that Damn D gave me a chance to clear up a lot of stuff, and I thank some people in the chat who also threw their opinion at me. See, I'm not so closed minded where I won't listen to other people. I might not understand at first, but once it finally click, I show appreciation to you. I'm not scared to do that. Because for one, just because I'm 62, I don't claim to know every damn thing. I don't claim to be a Mr. Know-It-All. You know? That's just how it is. Yeah. But it's crazy, yo. It's crazy, man. Man, I'm still tripping. I'm still tripping, man. I was just chilling yesterday with the family. You know, picked up my daughter from school. We chilling. I saw Dan D on earlier. Then I left. Then I tuned in to Dan D again when I got time. Then I heard, damn, Nate, what? So I kind of hurried up and got done, what I was doing. Then when I came back, and that's when I heard Dan D say, Nate, hit the panel. Then the rest was history. You know, but it's crazy. Only thing I got to say, look, whoever, just to whom it may concern. If it don't concern you, don't worry about it. But if it concerns you, listen. Don't try to use me in your bullshit. Don't try to use me in your bullshit. If I come to your channel, don't use me in no bullshit. That's all I ask. Whatever animosity you have towards somebody else, I don't have shit to do with it. So don't involve me in your bullshit. I, that's all I ask, man. If you're gonna do that, hey, I know to stop watching you. If I feel you're gonna constantly do that. If you see me on your channel, do the same thing I do to you. If I give you a salute, you give me a salute. That's mutual respect. Now, I don't give a fuck what the chat say, because chat people gonna be chat people. But if I salute the host, all I ask you is salute me back. If I show you respect, show me respect back. And we good. But just don't put me in the middle of that bullshit. Don't talk about what you think of the takeover. No, I'm not over here representing the takeover. They somebody who I support. I'm not a traveling representative of the takeover. Just like I'm not a traveling representative of Damn D. I'm not nah. I'm not a traveling agent for Bus Life. I'm not a traveling agent for the Rabbit Pack. Or whoever. I'm my only agent. I represent myself. It's just different people I support. I support Takeover. I support Damn D. I support other people. I might not watch you every day, but I don't mean I don't support you. See, the Rabbit Channel was the first. I don't know how they came up on my thing on YouTube. Maybe because they took off the takeover. I don't know how, but I just clicked over to see what he was talking about. I always heard about him. I always heard Kwame when he told the story when he met up with him in the restaurant. You know, I always heard when G Money was talking about he couldn't pay his rent. That's all I knew of him. So I just went over there to see what he was talking about. It probably was bad timing. But shit, I ain't had nobody else to watch. I ain't had shit to do. So the curiosity just set in. That don't make me a bad person. But once again, I got brought into some bullshit. But it's cool. I know next time I learned a lesson. Everybody's not genuine. Everybody's not honest. Maybe I took some people for granted. I put, too much trust in some people. but it's okay. See, it's just like when you loan somebody money, then they don't pay you back. Because, see, I was always taught if you loan money, make sure you're not going to miss it because they guarantee you'll get paid back. So it's like if you loan somebody money, then they don't pay you back. You don't necessarily get upset about it. You just say, hey, I ain't loaning that motherfucker no money no more. In actuality, that person is hurting himself. Because if he need help again, he can't go back to that person who helped him. So if I come to check you out or think about supporting you, then you want to try to put me in some buffoonery, put me in something that doesn't concern me, then I know I can't trust you. I just know not to mess with you. Because you're not hurting me. You're not hurting me at all. You know, like I say, I don't mind you cracking jokes on me. It's okay. Have fun. I'm not gonna get sensitive about it. Just keep it respectful. Because I don't set out to disrespect nobody. Like I say, I've been getting cracked on all my life. Well, I ain't gonna say all my life, but majority of my life. So if somebody roasted me, it's nothing new. Because growing up, I always been one of the biggest. Always had a big head. Pause. So I've been roasted for years. So somebody roasted me, don't put me in the crybaby mode. Shit, like I said, the shit funny. I might laugh at it my damn self. And that's real. That is 100% real. Yeah, like I said, I wasn't gonna even do a live today. But I changed my mind when I woke up this morning. Because after I did my little meditation, man, I said, let me go ahead, go live. as you got, as you guys can tell, I still got this cold and shit in me. I know it just seemed like early in the morning. That's when it hit me worse. But as the day goes on, I feel a little bit better. You know, I don't know. I'm trying to think if I'm gonna go somewhere tomorrow. If this cold don't change. So I don't want to go. I don't like going around people. We got a lot of older people at my church, so they real cautious, especially since that COVID shit. And I don't like, I greet a lot of older people, and I just don't like wearing the mask. So I'm gonna see if I can probably take some all day. I'll probably be watching them, whoever go live or something, watching the bushes, man. But today's Saturday. There's no games coming on today, so probably watch a few movies, man. Take some medicine, get under the covers, and try to see if I can feel a little bit better by tomorrow. Hey, hey, people, whoever in the bushes, I saw the takeover channel back on my thing. They back? What's up, JJ? You say what I'm talking about? No, I was JJ. I was just talking about the lesson I learned. I was talking about the lesson I learned. I learned a big lesson yesterday, JJ. I'm taking accountability of my part. That's all, JJ. I ain't talking about nothing outlandish or nothing like that. I'm just taking responsibility on my part. Because as you know, JJ, the position you in, where they say ignorance of the law is no excuse. So I'm taking accountability on my part. That's all I'm doing, JJ. Yeah, JJ, I had different intentions, but hey, like I said, JJ, all this shit, I didn't know the wounds was cut this deep. I, I just thought people was roasting and, some went too far and, I thought it was just roasting, but shit, this shit is deeper than that. I see now. Like I say, there, I thought it was just plain old roasting. But this is some serious shit. Not like when they say on Wabbit Pack, smoking on Wabbit Pack. I didn't know that had something to do with somebody's deceased relative. If I knew that, JJ, I would have never said that shit. I'm just gonna keep on saying what we say in Chicago. I'm smoking on some loud, and I hope that don't affect nobody. That's crazy, man. I really didn't know that came from somebody. The saying came about some deceased relative. That's crazy, man. Like I say, I thought it was just plain old roasting. But like I say, I learned, JJ. I learned my damn lesson. Shit, I don't be like you, JJ. The hell with jumping on motherfucking panels. You know? Yeah, that's crazy though, JJ. I ain't know it was that deep. I didn't know it was that deep, JJ. I didn't know it was that deep. Why are we hating on each other, man? Oh, this is so disappointing to me. That shows that us as people, we still have a long damn way to go. That's all that's showing me, JJ. We as people have a long way to go. To have hatred being involved in shit that's saying over the internet or things that's happening over the internet. I can see if things happen in real life, but shit that's happening over the internet, you develop hatred. I don't know. If that's the case, JJ, some of these people need God in their life. Some of these people need God in their life. I hate to bring up religion. When people feel like that, especially off the people off the internet, people they never met or whatever, they have hatred towards somebody. You need God in your life, man. You need to develop love in your heart. That's crazy. Well, what brings on the hatred? What brings on the hatred, JJ? I know you probably been here a long time. But uh, like I said, somebody mentioned to me in Damn D video that smoking on Wabbit Pack is represents somebody dead relative or tied to somebody because they said it's known in Chicago, but I never heard nobody say that in Chicago, so I don't know how true that is. But they said about somebody deceased parents or something. or is something personal within that statement? You know, I don't like to go too much on what people say in the chat. Really? Ooh. Well, yeah, yeah. You got a lot of those. You can tell sometimes how they act. You got a lot of that. You got a lot of non-believers, but that's on them. But the funny thing about it, as soon as something happened to them, first thing they're gonna say, "Oh my God." Oh yeah, yeah. That's crazy. Well, that's gonna be on him. If he's not a believer, that's on him. But just because you don't believe in God. Well, like I said, you know, people want to put race into it. It's not about race anymore. It's about good and evil. It's spiritual warfare. And he's not the only one that don't believe in God. We under spiritual warfare. Racism don't have nothing to do with it. Either you're good or you're evil. And like I said before, you got some good black people, you got some bad white people. You got some, you know, so good white people, evil white people. Good black people, evil black people. You had that in all nationalities. So, you know, it is what it is. That's why I say we under spiritual warfare. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, that's how it is. So, JJ, how was your week? Any exciting things happen? I didn't like the comment the president made. Talk about he ain't thinking about the people. He thinking more about that war. I don't understand that comment he made. But next time you talk to him, ask him when them gas prices going down. Tell him we spending too much money in this gas prices, man. Yep. I thought somebody was live on this morning. But wasn't that guy on live all night? Damn. Well, a lot of people happy the takeover gone. The takeover ain't taking up that many hours. I think, why complain? You could do the same damn thing. Why you complain is take over on 10, 12 hours. You could do the same. Yeah, I just hope all this taking down people's channels and that shit crazy. But the thing about it is, I understand you do have to follow the rules and guidelines. But like I know you can't use certain words, you know. So you gotta follow the rules. Cause everybody gotta follow rules. Shit, we started following rules when we lived in our parents' house. We had to follow the house rules. So we all gonna have to follow some type of rules all through our life. You know? Yeah. That's what that's when you really have to be careful. That's when you really have to do it, JJ. And not to knock on nobody, if you've been on here as long as you have, hey, what's up, KTC? If you've been on here as long as you have, you should know the rules. So there's no excuse. What's up, Rabbit? Rabbit Tube Clips. What's up? Salute, salute, salute. Now, KTC, if you missed it earlier, you know, all this stuff that was being said, like I say, I didn't know this Wabby Pack stuff was like a demeaning term. And I apologize if I said it to offend anybody. I apologize. No, you know, religion, it's just, to me, KTC, it's just about doing right or wrong. You don't even have to put religion in it. It ain't about putting religion in it. It's about doing what's right and what's wrong. You know, if you walk in somebody's house and they got money on the table and you know it's not your money, you know it's wrong if you take it. You know what I'm saying? It's about right or wrong. You only have to put religion in it. You know, you only have to put religion. That's why I try to not put religion, because, you know, people is turned off by religion, especially organized religion. See, I don't believe in organized religion. I believe in God, Jesus Christ. I believe in them. But I don't believe in organized religion because organized religion, in my opinion, is nothing but a business. But you got to understand what kind of Christians they were. Everybody called themselves Christians ain't Christian, KTC. everybody, everybody who Christians ain't Christians. You know, so that's what people have to realize. Everybody who's Christian is not Christian. What's up, Eric? Welcome, my brother. Welcome. So just because somebody say they're Christian, that don't mean shit. That don't mean a damn thing. You know, you learn how a person is through their actions, not by what's come out their mouth. Pause. See, people for centuries, for decades, people use religion as a crutch for doing wrong. So just because somebody say they're Christian, that don't mean nothing. That's why I say you can say you believe in God, but your actions proves wrong. See, I could say I believe in God, but my actions can kind of display that I believe in God because I invite everybody over here in my chat. I don't separate. I don't try to separate nobody. So, in other words, I try to walk when I talk. Have I made a few mistakes along the way? Yeah, I admit to that. Just like they said, well, I be throwing sneak shots. Yeah, I be throwing, shots, but it don't be degrading towards nobody. Why is it so important for people to tell you who don't believe in God? I know, Rabbit. Uh, I don't know. I don't know, KTC. I will. I just haven't had time, bro. I just haven't had time. Like I said, I was with the family yesterday, and just through the little breaks, I'm ghost watching, and I just didn't have time, man. But I will. I will. Yeah, I will. Oh well, it is what it is. Yeah, I know. I did a couple of live. Excuse me. No, I just be busy, man. I just be busy. It ain't nothing about procrastinating. I just be busy, man. I just be busy. I just got to take the time out to do it. But I just be busy. That's all. Yep, I just be busy, man. You trying to hurry up and get me on StreamYard, huh? Don't do it, bro. Don't worry about it. They tried to KTC. Okay, I think it he man. Like I said, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Yeah, KTC, they tried. You know, like I say, man, I didn't know a lot of this shit was as deep as it was. You know, I didn't know this shit was deep as it was, man. Y'all got this shit. Y'all got the wound so deep, man. I'm coming in like a shit when a pit of fire. I came into something I ain't know nothing about. And see, it almost got me to a point where where people want me to choose sides, which I'm not gonna do. Well, I'm gonna get to that, brother, because I got a lot of things planned for my channel. Like I'm gonna have special guests, man. I got somebody because all I'm waiting for him to, open up his schedule. But I got a brother who's has a PhD um, in American history, in Black history, and we're gonna do like a show together. So I got a lot of things planned. I'm just trying to build it up, man. I'm just trying to build it up right now. Probably get the subscribers up a little bit, but it's coming soon, man. It's coming soon, but it's just like I got a lot of things going on right now. But it's coming soon, man. Just hey, just be fair. I just hope y'all don't X out each other, man, going at each other. I just hope y'all don't X out each other. Man, I was asleep. I was asleep. If I wanted to go to Sears live, I don't know where. But I was asleep. That's why I said Sears must have been on for overnight. I was asleep, man. Because I woke up. Because like I said, I wasn't going to come on today. But after last night or whatever, I said, fuck it, let me go on here. Because, I got to I show accountability. I take accountability. I just don't push it off to nobody else. And shit, like I said, I didn't know shit was this deep on both sides. So I just made to my mind, hey, fuck it. If I go support somebody, I'm just gonna keep my ass in the chat. Unless I want to or somebody invite me on the panel for good reasons, not for no bullshit. Uh, okay, KT. I'll answer you in a second, KTC. But man, I always been black conscious, because I grew up in that era. I grew up in that era of black consciousness. Because, like I say, some of my favorite people was with the Black Panthers movement, Black Stone Rangers. They was about peace, develop, building the neighborhood. You know, I followed Malcolm X. So I was always black conscious. Then I had an old man who a father who taught me black history when they weren't teaching it in school. So I always been black conscious. Well, why I'm up here crying? Come on, bro. Who crying? Do it sound like I'm crying? Come on, bro. Shit, I'm far from crying, dude. Crying for what? Shit, ain't nobody on YouTube. What they eat make me shit. So why I be crying? Come on, bro. I know you might be cracking the joke, but come on. I'm far from that. But salute, bro. Salute for coming in. No, I'm far from crying. You know, like I say, I'm just stating what I said yesterday, last night. I ain't know this shit was that deep. I ain't know how some of the things. Oh, you don't know much? Well, KTC, well, you need to stick around. You might not be the only one like that. See, KTC, you have to remember, we wasn't taught most of this stuff when we was in school. See, they taught us Martin Luther King because at the time, they was going into I Have a Dream speech. So at that time, Martin Luther King was like what they so-called called a plant today. Because they was afraid of Malcolm X. They was afraid of the Nation of Islam. Because the Nation of Islam was too positive. It was too pro-black. So if anybody's too pro-black, they are a threat to the government. And you know, that's why I like to show history, KTC. Because all through history, the oppressor to control us always destroyed the strong black man. That's why I like to show history. It's not that I'm trying to so-called take you to school. But I want guys, people to see what they do to use us, to mistreat us. And how constantly they keep doing it. See, now in today's game, they have our own people doing it. It's not necessarily them doing it. Our own people are doing it. You know what? You know what? I'm glad you said something. I'm glad you said something. I'm just gonna play a little bit of it. Since you said you never heard, excuse me. Okay, this is I ain't gonna play all of it, but this is just one of his speeches that he gave, in which he explained the difference between a house Negro and a field Negro. And I want you to listen to what he says. Okay, let's begin.
To understand this, you have to go back to what young brother here referred to as the house Negro and the field Negro. Back during slavery, there was two kinds of slaves. There was the house Negro and the field Negro. The house Negro, they lived in the house with master. They dressed pretty good. They ate good because they ate his food, what he left. They lived in the attic or the basement, but still they lived near their master. And they loved their master more than the master loved himself. They would give their life to save their master's house quicker than the master would. The house Negro, if the master said, we got a good house here, the house Negro said, yeah, we got a good house here. Whenever the master said we, he said we. That's how you can tell a house Negro. If the master's house caught on fire, the house Negro would fight harder to put the blaze out than the master would. If the master got sick, the house Negro would say, what's the matter, boss? We sick. We sick. He identified himself with his master more than his master identified with himself. And if you came to the house Negro and said, let's run away, let's escape, let's separate, that house Negro would look at you and say, man, you crazy. What you mean separate? Where is there a better house than this? Where can I wear better clothes than this? Where can I eat better food than this? That was that house Negro. In those days, he was called a house nigger. And that's what we call him today, because we still got some house niggers running around here.
Okay, that's it. I ain't gonna play the whole thing, but that's just part of the Malcolm X speech. See, that's why I like to show different videos like that. Because everything he's pertaining is going on today. You know, you got some black people who like living like the oppressor. So they ain't gonna give that up. The hell with liberating the black community. Shit, I'm getting paid. I'm getting that bag. I ain't gonna give that up and speak truth. Shit, speak truth to take away this bag. So I'm gonna shut the hell up. That's a category of a house Negro. See, a field Negro ain't gonna give a fuck. And we got that going on today. See, the field Negro is like a person like Malcolm X. Later on, Martin Luther King. You know? So that's why it's good to know history, man. And that's what I bring to my channel. Because like KT says, she never heard much of Malcolm X. No, because it wasn't taught in our schools. It wasn't taught in our school. So if it never was taught, how we gonna learn? You can't learn nothing that you never been taught. Hold on, people. Okay, I'm back. Hey, Aunt Perry. Salute, salute, salute. Yeah, you can't know nothing. They never talk to you. How would you know? What's up, clans? That's why I have my page. That's why I say my page is for everybody. You After you leave my page, you can go to who you support. That's your prerogative. KTC, I was just explaining what the topic was. First of all, to talk about that I understand, I learned a lesson. And the other thing is to bring awareness and why I do what I do. Well, hey, sometimes you can't control that because people do what they do. Just because let's say which I'm not. Let's say if I was Martin Luther King's son, then I go do something like that. Now it's gonna look bad for Martin Luther King, but in actuality, you can't blame him because that man made his own choice. And you said his grandson, so it ain't gonna have no effect on how people look at Malcolm X. So you got to think when Malcolm X was underlined, most of his kids was young. They wasn't thinking about having kids. So, you know, that's that. But yeah, I just wanted to bring a positive platform, man. Positive platform, you know, not causing separation. People who I support, let me make this clear, I'm still going to support. Right. People I support, I'm still going to support. But as far as getting into personal and the bullshit, I'm not stepping in. I just keep my ass in the chat. That's the only difference. That's what I decided to do, Aunt Perry, because I had got put in too much bullshit. By going along with jokes and not realizing how some people take that shit seriously and personally. See, I ain't into talking about people deceased parents and relatives. I'm not into that. I don't care who does it. You know, I don't care who does it because it's not cool. But none of us on here is perfect. But like I say, people who are supported, I'm gonna keep supporting. People don't like Biz and G Money. That's their personal feelings towards them. It's not mine. And same vice versa. I just support that show. I'll just watch that show. But like I say, I present respect. And if you give me respect back, I'm good. Well, KTC, I don't know now, but did Malcolm X? I ask you in a minute, answer you in a minute, Dwayne. But it just seems that it's like when I was over the takeover thing, a lot of people um, thought that I'm on this side. No, no. Yeah, I'm sure they supported Fat Tank. Biz came over here once. He saluted me. I haven't seen G Money. He probably been in the bushes. Cause you gotta understand, I do my shit 4 in the morning. I do my shit 4 in the morning. But I can't say Biz been over here. Maybe once I start having a panel, well, from what I heard, I don't know how new it is today. Excuse me, y'all. But he can't hit the panels or whatever. But when it comes to that point, yeah, I'm gonna let people hit the panel. Nobody questioned me, but you know how you get kickback because I'm over there. I don't hear everything what people say, but I can tell by the energy that I get. That's how I know something's being said. But it don't matter now, KTC. That ain't even the case now. That's not even the case now. Yeah, that's all I ask, KTC. Because you saw when I come to somebody else's panel, I don't disrespect nobody. I want the same energy that I gave you to come to me. Now, I definitely call you out on your bullshit. I definitely call off if I feel you wrong. Well, I'm just not going to come out and disrespect you. I got far in life, in real life, that way. I got far in real life that way. That's why I say I just didn't become 62 for nothing. Yeah. But I stuck to my own KTC. I stuck to my own. I felt I stuck to my own, man. The KTC, I don't run for nothing. I don't run for nothing. And if I find out I'm wrong in something, I would accept it and take accountability for it. See, that's the difference with me. I'm not gonna point my finger and don't point my finger at myself. I was always taught that as a kid by my parents. Instead of always pointing your finger at what somebody else done, look in the mirror and point the finger at yourself and ask yourself, what could you have done to prevent the situation from happening? That's what I was taught. But it's all good. People, give me a second. Give me a second. 1 second. All right, people, I'm back. I had to go holler at my girl right quick. She about to go work out. You know. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that interrogation, that shit was funny. That shit was funny. But it's all good. I wouldn't even call that interrogation. A conversation. That's what I call it. Everybody else might think it's different. Because there's a lot of things that need to be explained. Because a lot of things what I said was thrown out of proportion. And a lot of things that I said before. No, it was all about the timing and all that when I went to that channel. Because, like I say, I understand the timing I went to the channel. conversation about your whereabouts. No, it wasn't no conversation about my whereabouts. You know, some people came to the chat saying that, you know, I talk bad about the takeover, which you know and other people know I didn't. You know I didn't talk about the takeover. And if I was on the outside looking in, I would have said probably thought the same thing. Because that was my first time. My first time over on this channel happened to be the day. Was it the same day? Or the day after that the takeover get taken off? That's crazy timing. So a person who with that mindset would think that I'm throwing the takeover under the bus or I'm switching sides, as they say. That's if you got that mindset. But that wasn't on my mind. That wasn't my mindset. My mindset was just, at the time, find something to watch. And they have to be on live. So let me see what they talk about. Who else panel I hit and got questioned about? Well, shit, I got questions about shit hitting everybody's panel. By going on Kwame's panel, by going on Grandma Calling panel, just going on panels, period. Because the excuse the first time was that the way I talk. It wasn't about whose side I was on at that time, it was about the way I talk. Then as times started going, and I started going to the takeover panel, then that when that started coming up. But before, it was, I'm just hitting the panel too much, going up on the panel too much. So that's what that was. Hold on, KTC. I'll answer that for you. When I say the way I talk, I mean the sound of my voice. It wasn't what I was talking about. It was the sound of my voice. Because I always talk what I talk about now, what I say now. It's not different. But it was just the sound of my voice. People used to crack on. Because when I got red bubble off of certain people's panels, you know, some of them probably said, I went off script, or some people say they couldn't stand the sound of my voice. Never per se of what I'm talking about. KTC, I ain't smoking shit. I'm trying to get rid of this damn cold. Shit, you talking about smoking. Shit. But like I say, KTC, if that's saying all that shit is kind of offensive to the person they talking about, like I say, I apologize for adding on to that because I didn't know that was what it was about. You know, that's a little personal thing between two parties. You know, I'm not, I'm staying out of that shit. I just keep, if I'm smoking, I'm saying, like we said in Chicago, I'm smoking on some loud. That's what we call it. So I'm just going to stick it to my regular saying. I never heard it, KTC. It must be amongst the young bucks. That must be amongst the young bucks. Because us older people, we don't call it that. That's what I'm drinking. I got some ginger, and I'm drinking with some with tea and lemon. That's what I'm drinking now. Matter of fact, that's what I'm trying to make right now. Yeah, KTC, that's from the youngest. See, we never call it that. Nah, I ain't trying to be young. Shit, I'm glad I'm my age. Shit. I already been young. I know time don't go backwards. I definitely know time don't go backwards. That's for real. Yeah. So y'all, shit, I've been on here almost 3 hours. Shit. I'm gonna get out of here. But you know I gotta play my theme song while I get out of here. You know I gotta play my theme song. So everybody have a good weekend. You know, much love to everybody. You know, until we meet again. You know, have a good day. Holla. YouTube, I don't own the rights to this music. This music is used for entertainment purposes only. Have a good day, people.
We all agreed tonight, all of the speakers have agreed that America has a very serious problem. Not only does America have a very serious problem, but our people have a very serious problem. America's problem is self-destruction. Yeah, my self-destruction. Self-destruction. Yeah, my self-destruction. Self-destruction. Yeah, my self-destruction. Self-destruction. Well, today's topic, self-destruction. It really ain't the rap audience that's bugging. It's one or two suckers, ignorant brothers, trying to rob and steal from one another. You get caught in the mid. So to crush that stereotype, here's what we did. We got ourselves together so that you can unite and fight for what's right. Not negative cause. The way we live is positive. We don't kill our relatives.
Pop, 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 when it's shot, who's to blame? Headlines, front page, and raps the name. MC Delight here to state the bottom line. The black on black crime was way before our time.
Triple broke life with a knife as his wife cried cause he died of trifling death when he left his very last breath. Was I slept, so watch your step. Back in the 60s, our brothers and sisters were hanged. How could you gangbang? I never ever ran from the Ku Klux Klan, and I shouldn't have to run from a black man, cause that's self-destruction. Yeah, my self-destruction. Self-destruction. Yeah, my self-destruction.
jail and gotta go. Cause you could do crime and get paid today. And tomorrow you're behind bars in the worst way. Far from your family. Cause you're locked away. Now tell me, do you really think crime pays? Even on taking what your brother had?
You little sucker.
You talking all that jazz.
It's time to stand together in a unity. Cause if not, then we're soon to be self-destroyed, unemployed. The rap race will be lost without a trace or a clue but what to do. Is stop the violence and kick the science down the road that we call eternity, where knowledge is formed and you learn to be self-sufficient, independent. To teach the each is what rap intended, but society wants to invade. So do not walk this path that they laid. It's self-destruction. Yeah, it's self-destruction. Self-destruction. D-Nice, take it down like this.
Children growing, women producing, men go working, some go stealing.
Self-destruction. Yeah, for self-destruction. Self-destruction.
I'm Miss Melody and I'm a born again rebel. The bombs in rap must cease and settle. If we want to develop and grow to another level, we can't be guinea pigs for the devil. The enemy knows they're no fools because everyone knows the hip hop rules. So we gotta get it and grab what's wrong. The opposition is weak and rap is strong.
This is all about, no doubt, to stop violence. But first, let's have a moment of silence. Swing. Things been stated, re-educated, evaluated. Thoughts of the past have faded. The only thing left is the memories of our belated. And I hate it when someone dies and get all hurt up for a silly gold chain by Chuck.
Word up.
It doesn't make you a big man. And you ain't going dish your brother, man. And you don't know that's part of the plan. Why? Because rap music is in full demand. Understand?
Self-destruction. Yeah, for self-destruction. My name is Just Ice, a man, not a prankster. I was known as the gangster. But believe me, that is no fun. The time is now to unite everyone. You don't have to be soft to be for peace. Robbing and killing and murdering is the least. You don't have to be chained by the beast. But party people, it's time I release. Hey yo, here's the situation. Idiocy, nonsense, violence. Not a good policy, therefore we must ignore. Fight and fussing. Habits at the door so there'll be no bum rushing. Let's get together because we're falling apart. I heard a brother shot another, it broke my heart. I don't understand the difficulty, people. Love your brother, treat him as an equal. They call us animal, I don't agree with them. I'll prove it wrong, but right is what you're proving them. Take heed before I lead to what I'm saying, or we'll all be on our knees praying.
Heavy deep in the heart of the matter. The self-destruction is served on a platter, making a day, not failing to anticipate. They got greedy, so they fell for the bait. That makes them a victim, picked and plucked. New jack in jail, but the vets still a duck. There's no one around, cause in jail you're a number. They never took the time to wonder about
Self-destruction. Yeah, for self-destruction. Self-destruction. Yeah, for self-destruction.
Yes, we urge to merge, we live for the love of our people, the hope they get along. Getting the point to our brothers and sisters who don't know the time.
so we know the ride.
Step in your heads, you know our job to build and collect ourselves with intellect. To revolve, to evolve to self-respect. Cause we got to keep ourselves in check, or else it's
Self-destruction. Yeah, for self-destruction. Self-destruction. Yeah, for self-destruction.
Holla.